It's a quiet morning in an Australian suburb. The streets are still. Inside, families sleep, unaware. Then, flashlights, boots pounding porches, officers moving in, doors burst open. People wake, startled, confused. Hearts race, voices shout, commands echo through hallways. This scene repeats across cities, across countries, from Australia to Europe to the Americas. The same knock, the same chaos, the same shock. On June 8, 2021, coordinated raids hit in more than a dozen nations. Hundreds arrested, thousands of officers deployed, entire criminal networks caught off guard, their operations frozen in an instant. Tons of drugs, hidden weapons, luxury cars, stacks of cash, and digital wallets filled with cryptocurrency, all seized. The scale is staggering, unprecedented, and at the center of it all, a phone. Not just any phone, a hardened, secret messaging device designed for criminals called ANØM. It looked ordinary, unassuming, almost harmless, but inside it was anything but. For the people who used it, it felt untouchable, invincible, a shield against the law. For law enforcement, it was the ultimate trap, a master stroke of planning, patience, and deception. Every message sent, every plan made, every deal discussed had been building the net that would finally capture them. ANØM promised safety, security, secrecy. Instead, it delivered exposure, betrayal, and justice. This is ANØM, the sting of the century. Encrypted phones were once the ultimate promise of privacy, a digital safe no one could break. For criminals, they were irresistible. Every exchange, every arrangement, every move, exposed, yet shielded behind layers of encryption. For law enforcement, they were a nightmare. Devices like Phantom Secure and Sky ECC dominated the market, selling themselves as untraceable, impenetrable, completely secure. They came at a steep price, tens of thousands of dollars for just 6 months of service. But for those dealing in drugs, weapons, or organized crime, the cost was insignificant compared to the protection they promised. These phones were stripped of anything that could betray a user. No cameras, no GPS, no unnecessary apps. Messages could vanish with a single command, a feature known as the kill switch. If authorities ever seized one of these devices, it could be wiped instantly. All data gone, evidence erased, hours, days, even weeks of work wiped clean in a heartbeat. Officers were left empty-handed, frustrated, powerless, watching criminal networks communicate freely right under their noses. Over the years, law enforcement mounted aggressive operations, targeting these companies one by one. Phantom Secure collapsed under pressure. Sky ECC followed. Another company, another takedown. Each shutdown left a void, a vacuum in the market. Organized crime suddenly had nowhere to turn. The underworld was exposed, vulnerable, desperate for a solution, a silence in the shadows, waiting to be filled. And that vacuum became an opportunity for one man. He was not a coder, not a tech genius, but he understood the underworld and he understood encrypted phones. He saw a chance to fill the gap left by Phantom Secure and Sky ECC, to sell criminals the security they craved while secretly exploiting human trust and technological gaps. He would create a device that looked secure, invincible, a lure for the criminal world, drawing them in like moths to a flame. In this moment, the stage was set. Law enforcement had fought and lost battles against encryption before, but the war was far from over. A trap was being quietly prepared, one that would exploit trust, secrecy, and human greed. And at the center of it, a device that criminals would believe was untouchable, a device that law enforcement would secretly control. The story of ANØM begins here, not with a raid, not with an arrest, but with the promise of absolute security and the hunger of organized crime to grasp it. What came next would become the largest sting operation in history, a perfect trap that no one saw coming. It is 2018, and the underworld is watching for a new solution. Organized crime networks are scrambling, searching for a way to communicate safely. A phone that can't be traced, a phone they can trust. Into this void steps a man known only by the initials AFU. He is not a coder, not a hacker, but he knows the market, and he knows the criminals. He knows what they crave, a device that feels untouchable, invincible, a digital shield against the law. AFU's plan is audacious. He will create the next generation encrypted phone, smartphone called ANØM. At first glance, it looks like any other smartphone. Apps like Netflix, Spotify, even Tinder appear normal, but appearances are deceptive. They are dummies, placeholders, a perfect disguise. The phone is built to hide its true purpose, to appear ordinary, while secretly holding a hidden world within. Beneath the surface, a secret code unlocks the ANØM messenger. Messages can be sent, received, and stored completely undetected. A kill switch is built in, ready to wipe everything if the device falls into the wrong hands. AFU's creation is elegant, sophisticated, and incredibly dangerous. A device designed to lure criminals into a false sense of security while concealing a hidden truth. But there is a twist. ANØM is not just a phone. AFU is secretly collaborating with law enforcement. The FBI, the Australian Federal Police, are watching, waiting, ready to turn a tool of criminals into a tool against them. Together, they build a backdoor, a hidden passage that allows authorities to read every message, every plan, every deal without detection. ANØM starts small. Phones are handed out to trusted criminals in Australia. Rumors of a safe phone spread quickly. The underworld takes notice. Demand skyrockets. Italian mobsters, drug traffickers, biker gangs all begin using it, believing themselves untouchable. Everything they shared was monitored in real time. It is a masterpiece of deception. Criminals believe they are in control, but the trap is already set. ANØM is no ordinary phone. It is a lure, a honey trap, a key that will unlock the darkest corners of the criminal world. The stage is set, the players are in position, and the largest sting operation in history, the operation that would catch criminals across continents, is about to begin. By 2019, ANØM had grown beyond anyone's expectations. Hundreds of users in Australia, demand spreading fast, messages flying across the country and crossing borders. Criminals trusted the device, and they became its ambassadors, spreading it far and wide. Word of mouth in the underworld is a powerful force, and ANØM quickly became the talk of organized crime. It was whispered about in secret meetings, discussed in hidden forums, coveted by networks that had lost faith in every other encrypted device. Meanwhile, law enforcement remained in the shadows. Every message, every deal, every plan was being monitored. Drug shipments, weapons transfers, money laundering operations, nothing escaped the back door. Authorities were seeing it all. Intelligence flowed in at an unprecedented scale, a global map of criminal activity. And yet, outside the operation, the world remained unaware. No headlines, no leaks, no hint of what was unfolding in real time. Then came the moment of truth. Operation Trojan Shield, what would become the largest coordinated sting in law enforcement history, was set in motion. Police in over a dozen countries, stretching from Europe to the Americas, readied themselves. Thousands of officers prepared for simultaneous raids. The trap was about to spring. Intercepted ANØM messages revealed plots that the criminals themselves could never have imagined being exposed. Hitmen were hired, drug shipments scheduled, money laundered through multiple channels. Deals that would have taken months to uncover were laid bare in real time. Authorities could act, strike, dismantle operations before a single deal was completed. The net was closing, silently, invisibly. When the raids began, the scale was staggering. Homes, warehouses, labs stormed simultaneously. Hundreds arrested, tons of drugs seized, weapons, luxury cars, millions in cash and crypto, all confiscated. Criminal networks that had believed themselves untouchable collapsed under the weight of their own communications. For the first time, the underworld realized the truth too late. ANØM, the phone they trusted above all, was a trap. What they had believed invincible became their undoing. Every message, every plan, every deal had been building the net that would catch them. It was a perfect operation, sleek, silent, precise. A global sting unlike anything the world had ever seen. Criminals on multiple continents caught off guard, ensnared in a web they never suspected existed, and at the heart of it, a device that promised safety but delivered justice. When the dust settled, the scale of Operation Trojan Shield became staggering. Over 800 arrests, criminal networks dismantled, tons of drugs, weapons, and millions in cash and cryptocurrency seized. For law enforcement, it was a triumph. Intelligence collected from ANØM revealed operations that were previously invisible. Dark corners of organized crime laid bare, plans, transactions, and schemes exposed in real time. It was a glimpse into a world that had thrived in secrecy, now illuminated. But the story didn't end with celebration. Complex questions arose, legal, ethical, and practical. Could the evidence collected through ANØM's backdoor power be used in court? Courts in some countries began challenging it immediately. German courts, for example, ruled that messages intercepted from ANØM could not always be directly linked to suspects. Trials were delayed, some evidence dismissed, and the long-term effectiveness of convictions remained uncertain. What seemed like a perfect operation faced new, unexpected complications. Beyond the courtroom, the operation sent shockwaves through the criminal world. Trust in encrypted devices, once thought absolute, collapsed. What had felt invincible now seemed deadly. Criminals realized that every secret, plan, transaction could be seen. Every device, even those designed to protect them, could be a trap. ANØM became a symbol of the fragility of trust in the underworld, a reminder that technology, when wielded strategically, could overturn entire empires. At the same time, Operation Trojan Shield raised broader questions about privacy in everyday life. Encryption is not just for criminals. Journalists, human rights activists, dissidents in authoritarian countries all rely on secure messaging to protect themselves and their sources. The same technology that caught criminals could also affect ordinary people. It reminded the world that privacy is precious, and that the line between safety and surveillance is often razor thin. And yet, for law enforcement, ANØM proved the power of patience, planning, and deception. A single tool, a single device, had turned the tide against criminal networks across the globe. The operation was unprecedented, a model of intelligence and strategy, a victory that would be studied for years to come. But it was also a reminder, even the most brilliant operations have consequences. Every success carries uncertainty. Every victory carries questions. The balance between justice and surveillance is complicated, and the impact of ANØM will be debated for decades. ANØM was more than a phone. It was a mirror reflecting trust, greed, and the fragile illusion of privacy. Criminals believed themselves untouchable, convinced that their messages, deals, secrets were beyond reach. Yet their own choices, their reliance on a device they thought secure, betrayed them. Every message, secret plan led them straight into the trap, and the consequences were unavoidable. For law enforcement, ANØM was a lesson in patience, strategy, and the power of understanding human behavior. One device, carefully placed, quietly monitored, revealed entire networks. The scale of the sting was global, unprecedented, a once-in-a-lifetime operation. What had seemed impossible became reality, a single tool turning into a window into the criminal world. And yet, questions linger. How much privacy can we truly trust? How far should surveillance go, even in the pursuit of justice? Operation Trojan Shield revealed both the brilliance and the danger of technology. A tool designed to catch criminals also serves as a reminder to the world. Anything can be watched. Anything can be monitored, and absolute secrecy is an illusion. In the end, ANØM became the perfect trap, not because criminals were careless, but because they trusted the very thing designed to betray them. It was a story of deception, strategy, planning executed flawlessly across continents. But it was also a story that makes us reflect on the thin line between freedom and control, on the balance between security and privacy, on the price of trust in a world where technology can be both a shield and a snare. The sting of the century, a reminder that power, patience, and intelligence can shape outcomes on a scale no one imagined, and that even the most sophisticated criminals can be undone by the very devices they rely on.